Salutations, my guys. It's your humble king, Coach Theo here on Common Sense. Not quite sure what I'm going to title this video yet. How to be a king. Something more triggering and provoking, perhaps. Probably. But either way, let's start with a Marcus Aurelius quote that's really going to pin down the core message of this video. A king's lot is to do good and be damned. A king, he does good for the sake of his people, and he's going to be damned by many people in the process of doing this good, many times by some of the very people he's doing this good for. And I'm obviously a king, but do you know why that's the case, apart from all these obvious signs, like looking like a freaking Aryan prince? Don't read too much into the fact that I said Aryan, okay? It's for the lulz. I kind of look very Swedish and Nordic over here, but yeah. Anyone that isn't deep in their ego can clearly see, hear, and feel that this is not just a little pleb person you have in front of you, but this is not the actual reason why I'm a king. These may be expressions of a king, but they are also things that can be faked and imitated, and many people do. I loudly proclaim, I am the alpha male, blah, 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 blah. I am a king. But it doesn't matter what you say. I'm going to keep saying, referring to myself as a king here, but the actual true reason why I am a king is because I know that I am, okay? I know that I've accepted the mission ordained to me and every man by God to put on the crown and be a king. Be what you know a man should be. Be what you know is the right thing to do, regardless of what everyone else says or thinks about that, okay? Same thing goes for women, by the way, about being a queen. I just unfortunately think that word is a bit tainted for all the yes, queen, slay. But the same role, thing, mindset goes, and then the woman role might be slightly different. Not really the point, but yeah, before I go on to make the points of the video, some caveats here. My videos are quite meta, but this one even more so than most, I think. And so, if you are triggered right now, okay, you're upset, you're, yeah, how can a guy, he's so full of himself, narcissist, how dare he speak that way about himself? Great, that was the point, you know. Take a few breaths, relax, and realize that, yeah, I'm going to be talking about me, but it's for you, okay? Because there's a king inside you that I want to bring out, and I'm just going to tell you what that has to be like, okay? But of course, I'm a king, not God. No man is, okay? I am not completely egoless. There is a little person that just wants to be seen, heard, and understood for who they are in me also. But that's the point. A king cannot expect people to understand him. There's a reason he's a king and they're not, right? How could they possibly get it? Okay, sorry about all the jumping around. I had to flee this loud grass cutting machine. That might come back, but I just don't have time anymore. I literally have clients after this. If he's here, I just have to start moving, I guess. So, okay, there's a lot of overlap between what the little person Theo here wants to tell you about himself for his sake. You know, explain so that you understand him, see him for who he truly is. And what the kingly coach Theo wants to tell you about himself for your sake, as examples for you to realize certain things about you. And the thing is, this is a great example actually. Some people will still see this as me just defending myself, over-explaining myself about these things I shouldn't really pay attention to, and he comes off so insecure when he does that. It's blah, 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 blah. Thing is, you're just wrong, and I have to be okay with that. See, I say I have to be okay with that, not that I am okay with it or feel okay with it, but that's the thing. A king's lot is to do good and be damned. A king doesn't do what he does to please as many as possible, to be liked by as many as possible. He does what he does because it's the right thing to do, and then people are just going to have whatever reaction they have. So yeah, we're going to go through some things and a little bit reverse order here, because just for the chronology of some of my recent videos, and I'm going to move on to some examples that people that aren't like YouTubers or anything can relate to as well. So yeah, I get misunderstood a lot. It's been like this always, but I'm thinking about uncommon sense time now. Before YouTube and everything, people will just not get me. Even people that like me or are like happy for me that things I've got turned out, they just don't understand certain things and will make out their explanations for it. And I just realized that I'm a deeply triggering person for many people. Even when I'm like at my nicest and least unhinged, there's always going to be some that are just so butthurt and annoyed by something with me. So a hater, right? And of course, I feel like this person doesn't get me, doesn't understand me, doesn't get me right. But the thing about me also is that I'm a 99th percentile extrovert. As in, I've always been yapping, learned to talk early, and I could talk anyone to death. But when I do the Big 5 personality test, I also score that. In a room of 100, I'm the most extroverted person. So especially when I'm in what I call a high state, basically just running high, like doing really well at the moment, it comes so naturally for me to respond and interact with everyone, regardless of the content, like positive or negative, good or bad. I can do it. It doesn't take effort. I just spit it out. It just comes so easily to me. So that's my natural inclination to do. I respond to like all the positive stuff too, but with the negativity, right? And I have many reasons for this. Like first of all, it comes so naturally to me. But I know that, imagine the worst kind of internet troll hater, right? That just tries to hurt you, just tries to put you down. They reveal to us something that we all do to one degree or another. This when we're triggered and go into our ego and try to make either in our head just make up some explanation of why this person is not as good as we actually feel they are, or just attack them to feel empowered that, I'm feeling threatened, I have to say something, get back at this person. And so the point is not really about the individual person. I am a crazy coach. I want to reach even this person because I realize that the fact that they're triggered by me says that there's something I remind them of they could grow if only they could see. But that's not going to be most people, but it has happened to me quite a few times that never in the moment, but later on, someone that was really upset with me, either online or actually in my real life, be like, hey, you were actually right. If not admitting it, just coming around and being more obviously humble. Right, so that can happen, but that's going to be a minority of people. And the main point is really to do these interactions and to talk about it like this is for everyone else, because we all can do this. And so someone that's a bit annoyed with something about me, but generally likes what I do here, for instance, they can see that, maybe I do that kind of thing too. Where does that come from? Why do I get annoyed by that? It's like, for you to figure something out like that. And yeah, that's the thing. The bully gets me wrong, or the hater gets me wrong, right? But also, so many people, when I tell you all of these things, there's also just going to come up as rationalizations. I'm really actually very insecure, and I get so upset, and I need to fight with these people because I'm so insecure, and I'm so mad, and I'm so triggered, right? And so I've had, because I get that response. So you see, go after these people that don't like me, and now some other people that like me, they don't like that I do that. See, you cannot please everyone. And so I get quite a few guys that obviously the way I look at it, when they are all triggered and say this, that you're so insecure, you come off like this, it seems like you were bullied and there's still an angry child in you that feels this need to defend themselves angry loudly, come off very insecure. Of course, I see this person as someone similar to me that just hasn't dared to own their kingdom, their royalty yet, right? That is afraid of taking space, of asserting themselves this way, afraid of being taken, like, you're insecure when you stand up and assert yourself towards bullies, right? So, because the thing is, it's not like that, there's no truth to that. That's the last thing I'll say about why I choose to do these interactions. You can believe whatever you want. I have to know for myself that it's a part in my coaching, in my royalty, right? I use this sort of examples with people to make points. But yes, there is a little part. That's true. I wasn't bullied. These people, I've been treated poorly, but these people always fill in the blanks. It's so obvious that they project on you, right? But I know that an aspect that why it's just satisfying to me to have this interaction is that, there is probably a little hurt kid somewhere in the background that, all the people that treated him wrong, didn't see him for who he is, used him, and that just wants to fuck you, right? But the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that. This is the thing, guys. We will always have our same wounds, core wounds, traits, and mechanisms. We just get to understand ourselves better, and we'll level up our way of dealing with it. And the thing is, it's nothing wrong with being angry when directed in the right way. Angry tells you where your boundaries lie. If someone is an asshole to you, you're not insecure or wrong because you just put this little fucker in their place, it's for your sake, but also for others, right? They see that that shit doesn't fly, and I would do that for you too. If someone attacks you, my people, I'll fucking stomp on them as well, right? But people are gonna make up whatever reasons they want for these things, right? So I will just trust. I love you guys. Many of you you get it. And, you know, the thing that my advice would be, if you follow someone that you generally like, but there are certain things that you think you see something like this, it's like, well, even if you don't quite understand it, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt, at least, right? Because I'm not even in denial that, yeah, I like to get involved with it. I like to fucking push that little bully. Yes, I could be triggered at some point. Yes, I could actually get emotional. But generally, I know that 95% plus of the time, it's kingly Coach Theo doing his thing. And people can think whatever they want about that. But yeah, guys, this is going to happen when you go on your own path and start, instead of doing what people around you do, doing whatever to fit in, to be liked, please others, to not be left out, you know. When you start seeing, this doesn't work for me anymore, often, take the obvious example that many people here are going to be able to relate to. If you've been similar to my old self, you know, more of a party person, drinking, not really exercising, not really eating well, and that, right? When you start changing your habits, it can be both with friends and family that, you know, you're doing something different. And it's going to remind the other people that maybe I should do that. Or a lot of people, the little plebs, they are often codependent in keeping themselves small, right? Not growing. And you're just going to have to face that. You would like to take your friends, take your family along with you for the ride, but not all of them will be ready for that. They will be unable, they will be blinded by your light. They will make up these stories. Like this happened to me, right? When I started, before Uncommon Sense, the channel, right? And I put out stories about how I gone through this with panic attacks on my private Facebook. And just showing the little body transformation, because it was a huge part of me feeling better that I found working on my physical health. And for me, it was so obvious that that's just really an illustration of something larger that happened. I went from a, you know, depressed, anxious person with all these feeling like crap to feeling really good. And it's obvious in the visual, right? But people make up the stories like, oh, he thinks he is something now. Like so narcissist, does he? Okay, that's good for him, you know, but does he really have to show off like that? And it's like, I just want to inspire you. It's like you could do this too. Even if you didn't go through the panic attacks, like clearly you can feel so much better if you do that. That's what I'm doing. And you think I'm a narcissist? You poor, you know. And so this, yeah, guys, that's going to happen to you. The closer people are to you, the more blinded they will be by their light and just see these things, right? And you just have to know why you're doing it. You can try. You invite people. You can try to reason with them, just like I will do with the worst fucking hater. But then there comes a limit when it's like, okay, I have to abandon you now because otherwise I abandon myself and what I know to be right from God. The king has to walk his path. The king has to be not only do what he knows is right, for just because it's right, but he has to be able to give him all this that he wishes. He will always wish. Again, we're not God. We'll always wish that everyone got us. It will sting even more that certain people don't get us. But we have to give us that. I am the fucking king. That's why I'm in this position. And that's just what being a king is. A king's lot is to do good and be damned. But of course, that's not all there is to it. That's why don't get blind to the fact that, I interact with all you guys. I love you guys. The guys that get it. Yeah, I love you guys. And it's a mistake. Again, you don't have to take my word for it. You're not going to, right? You're gonna see what you see, right? But just because I engage in those kinds of things doesn't mean that I don't overly, majority of the time, focus on like how lucky I am to do what I do and have some really fucking amazing people that I work with directly, clients, but around the channel. Some comments you guys leave, some things that you say on live streams, and that it's fucking great, So of course that's the part of the king. It's not he's just gonna be damned by everyone, because then he's probably not a good king. He's someone that's claiming I'm the alpha, right? While being a douche. Okay, I just have to try to conclude here now. It gets messy when I get interrupted like that. But yeah, of course, what people try to warn me about is like, don't focus on the negativity. It affects you. Blah, blah, blah. Again, it's very easy to say what someone should do when you're not in their position at all. You might frankly just not understand why they're doing what they're doing, but it's still true that can happen, right? And I watch myself carefully, but you do that as well, When you start changing, don't just focus on, because it might sting, someone specific close to you just doesn't get you, gets you so completely wrong, right? That it's hurtful and it's sad. You want to bring them along with you, but don't miss out on the fact that there's going to be a lot of people that see the truth of you, and you're going to attract all the right people And the last note I'll make is that, again, because it's never going to work to actively try to please anyone anyway, right? But like I said, people, when you let them lose you, when you abandon them instead of yourself and what's right, you give them the chance to come around by themselves later on. So the king has to be very patient, like a father has to be with his little children. So yeah, guys, I hope I managed to cut this so it's coherent here at the end, because yeah, well, I got thrown off and now I literally have to like kind of run when I finish the video. But yeah, please like and comment. It would be very interesting to hear what you think. Tell me all the reasons I'm wrong, right? And I'm going to prove something that, you know, I might respond to comments, but I'm not going to go into explaining myself, you know. I explain myself all the time in my videos. I know the majority of it is a form of teaching, and a little part is the human being Theo, absolutely. But yeah, just to prove it, you know, waste time. That's a super annoying thing, you know, when you say all these things and people turn up in the comments and kind of prove your point, and they're too fucking stupid to realize, and you just want to tell them again. But the king just has to be okay. So yeah, do holistic bodybuilding coaching, getting jacked and stacked mentally, physically, spiritually, becoming the king or queen, right? Manifest a kingly, a queenly body. You can send me DM on Instagram or email me. It's in the description below. I'll get back to you with my different programs and offers. You can pick up my training book, everything training, philosophy, mindset related you need in order to become a self-reliant, jacked and stacked king. Please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is mindset, guys. The king's mindset. Peace.